Days of Our Lives, Nicole faces heartbreaking Eric split, bitter showdown coming. Days of Our Lives spoilers Monday, June 30th. EJ fights for Johnny's freedom, Rafe blasts Jada, Chanel blows up at Paulina. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. After watching these videos, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Days of Our Lives sees Eric Brady and Nicole Walker in city for the Salem High School scale form, but of course, we only got to see Eric. But grounded on some big hints that are dropped, it looks like Nicole and Eric are headed for a split. And the coming time that we've Greg Vaughn back to Days, we should see Eric single and perhaps ready to mingle. Let's dive into why it looks like Nicole and Eric happily ever later is about to crash and burn, and what that means for unborn stories. Days of Our Lives trouble in paradise for Eric and Nicole? So, we heard from Holly Jonas that her stepdad Eric and her mama Nicole were at her scale. But Holly Jonas told Aaron Green they were sitting on contrary sides of the theater and not indeed talking. Plus, Nicole took off right after Holly got her parchment because little Jude was back in Paris with his brace and he'd fallen ill. But Eric stayed in city rather of heading back with Nicole to check on their son. And latterly, Eric verified on a recent Days of Our Lives occasion, he and Nicole aren't getting along right now. But you know what's the deal with that? Is it big stuff? Is it little stuff? Days of Our Lives, Eric's return. After going through the whole fire with Eric raising his and Nicole's son, Jude with poisonous Sloane Peterson as an espoused baby, Eric and Nicole eventually set about the verity about Jude. They left city together as a happy little family unit. And since also, Eric has returned compactly, like when Brady Black was going through the fire of allowing he ran over Sarah Horton and paralyzed her while he was driving drunk. But also Eric left city again to go back to be with his true love, Nicole. But now she and Eric feel to be on the outs. And I mean, to be fair, they're a long time on, again off, again couple. But they did feel so happy last time when Nicole and Eric said farewell to family and musketeers, left Salem, headed to Paris, France with baby Jude. Is the Eric and Nicole era on Days of Our Lives eventually over? So, now we're at this point where we've to ask, is the Eric and Nicole period eventually over for good on Days of Our Lives? So, some recent occurrences of Days surely tell us there's a disgruntlement structure between Eric and Nicole, and soon it could get much, much worse. First, Eric showed up by himself after John Black was injured in the explosion and eventually failed, but no Nicole not being there to support her hubby. And former clerk Eric officiated at his stepfather's burial, stuck around for his stepdaughter Holly's scale, and he also officiated Paul Narita and Andrew Donovan's marriage with no word about why Nicole didn't attend any event except for the scale. They could have said she was sitting off to the side, or they could have done commodity to make it look like she was there with just off-screen mentions. And Holly and Eric both told people that Nicole was sitting with Eric at Holly's scale form. So, it's words getting around. Ari Zucker's action and the future of Nicole on Days of Our Lives. And the thing is, there's just presumably no stopgap for Nicole's return to Days of Our Lives unless they remake the part. By now, unless you're living under the proverbial gemstone, you presumably know Ari Zucker is suing Days of Our Lives. She filed the action. Gosh, it was like February last time, or was it the time before? So, she's suing NBC, several directors, the administrative patron, a former patron and director, and it's all about contended importunity and unhappy just behind the scenes. Numerous of these allegations related to now fired patron and director Albert Alar. Still, the action also accuses the powers that be, and I suppose Sony's part of it principally, of having no closeness fellow to cover actors, ignoring allegations about behind the scenes just, and especially just that redounded in allegedly poor treatment of the cleaner pieces as actresses. And we know a lot of them got cut in just a blasting fit that again was allegedly tied back to Albert Alar. And all these are allegations, but because of the action, they're not going to bring back Ari Zucker as Nicole. Television shows do contract with actors that are laboriously suing them. Right or wrong, they just do ent. And they do indeed hire actors that have sued other networks in the past. However, that can kill their career openings far and wide if an actor sues. And patron Ken Corday is a named defendant in the suit that Ari Zucker filed. Will Days of Our Lives remake Nicole or break up Eric and Nicole? So, barring some godly intervention, like a non-fictional phenomenon, Ari isn't going to be playing the part of Nicole again. And that means that these mentions of trouble with Eric are likely forerunning an Eric and Nicole resolve, because I suppose they would handle it else if a recast was coming. I'm not indeed sure the audience would accept a recast of Nicole given the outrage over the confidentially importunity allegations that formerly got one patron fired. I've seen a lot of commentary on cleaner social media mooting this whether they should remake, but utmost people feel to be against it. So, the simpler result obviously is breaking up Eric and Nicole, so he can come and go and pursue other love interests. Days of Our Lives. It's not commodity new for Eric and Nicole to make up and also break up. Those two have been over and down for numerous times. But also Eric and Nicole eventually got their phenomenon baby, thanks to anesthetized biscuits from Chanel Dupree's Bakery, Sweet Bits, and cheating on their separate mates. And also the whole divorce situation with Sloan and Eric, and also EJ DiMera and Nicole. That was a rough road because they were just being veritably delicate about it. And for a while, EJ flat out refused to give Nicole the divorce. So, in the end, Eric got this great job offer to be a shooter in Paris, so he and Nicole took off. Holly visited them a couple of times. We've got plenitude about screen mentions, and now those mentions have turned into the happy couple not being so happy. Days of Our Lives 60th anniversary. What's next for Eric? Also, it looks like Eric may be in Salem more constantly now. He's part of the Big Days of Our Lives 60th anniversary festivity, Raising in November. So, is that the point we're going to find out they broke up? Perhaps one of them had an affair. Saint Eric is generally enough pious to the women in his life, but Nicole has a history of flings and infidelity. So, she's also always felt like she was relatively good enough for Eric. So perhaps there's more serious effects passing, and that's why Nicole was sitting with Eric at the scale, because Holly could have said they were together at her big day, and also Nicole had to fly back to Paris for the sick baby. They didn't have to make anything about an implicit bifurcation. So, Eric's been enough tight-lipped, but perhaps he'll entrust in Marlena Evans why he and Nicole are having issues. Or Holly could tell Tate and Aaron about what she knows about their shattered relationship. I know that a lot of suckers would just like to see Eric and Nicole be happy, indeed if it's off-screen. But other suckers suppose that if Eric's going to keep coming back, that Nicole should either be recast or them broken up. Ari Zucker is the only woman who's ever played the part of Nicole. And that's why I just don't suppose we're going to get a recast, and we're surely not going to get Ari back. Implicit love interests for Eric on Days of Our Lives. And don't forget Sarah's split from Xander Cook right now. She and Eric formerly adored each other. So, they could push Sarah to Eric at least until she and Xander attune, which seems ineluctable. Eric's other partner, Jada Hunter, is presently single, but in the 60th anniversary print shoot, she was doing Filmland with Sean Brady. So, a Jada-Eric thing doesn't feel likely. I do love Greg Vaughn. I would love to see Eric back to Days of Our Lives on a further regular base, indeed a full-time base, indeed if Nicole's not going to be with him. So, drop your commentary. Do you want them to remake Nicole, or just let this bifurcation thing with Eric be, since easily Ari isn't going to be after Days? Days of Our Lives spoilers Monday, June 30th. EJ fights for Johnny's freedom, Rafe blasts Jada, Chanel blows up at Paulina. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Monday, June 30th, reveal that Gabby Hernandez and Ari Horton will put aside their issues for a change. Gabby and Ari have a mama-son cling session coming up, so they'll share some special moments together. Meanwhile, EJ DiMera will rush to Johnny DiMera's defense now that Jada Hunter has blazoned he's under arrest for his father's tried murder. Of course, Johnny just cleared effects up for EJ before all this arrest drama went down. EJ was relieved when Johnny claimed he was behind the firing, and that he actually turned the gun over to his pater that night. Unfortunately, someone differently got their hands on the armament and fired a shot before storing it in the farmer outdoors. EJ can't flash back much of anything right now, but he'll still assure Jada that Johnny didn't pull the detector and will fight for his son's freedom. Still, Jada may assume EJ is just covering for Johnny. Days spoilers say Jada will stand by the arrest she's made, but EJ won't like this, and neither will Rafe Hernandez. Rafe pushed Jada to give Johnny the benefit of the mistrustfulness and trusted her when he delivered word on Johnny's argument with EJ. Since Rafe trusts Johnny's side of the story, he'll blast Jada for hauling Johnny down to the station. Once Chanel Dupree DiMera gets updates on Johnny being taken into police guardianship, she'll flip out too. Days spoilers say Chanel will blow up at Paulina Price, so she may ask her mama to pull strings for Johnny and Cloud when there's nothing Mayor Price can do. Chanel and Johnny were just starting to get their marriage back on track, but this arrest news will throw their world into fermentation each over again. As for Marlena Evans and Roman Brady on Monday's Days of Our Lives occasion, Days spoilers indicate that they'll both solicitude about Johnny's future. The thing was to get Johnny to come forward and explain his interpretation of events before commodity like this hacked, so Roman and Marlena will surely fret over Jada's bold arrest move. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Johnny will be on a charge to clear his name soon, but he'll need plenitude of help to make it be. Thanks for watching these videos. Please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.